And so here we are with my Elite Series 2. Now I can't say for certain that this is going to make you a better Warzone player, but it certainly will make you play it more to justify the $250 cost of the controller, in Australian dollars anyway. Let's take a look. All right, I'm going to go through this super quickly for you so you can get back to Warzone or Call of Duty. We're going to go ahead and configure the controller. Now I have already prepared a profile and I have it signed to slot 1. I'm going to go ahead and edit it. This screen is very, very important. This is where we're going to deal with our button mappings. Now I personally use 3 out of the 4 paddles at the back, and the paddles are a game changer when you're playing a first-person shooter as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk a little bit about how I've configured the paddles. The first paddle I've assigned is the bottom left paddle. So there we have the jump button, and the jump button is obviously important for mantling and just getting around a lot quicker. It makes a lot more sense to be able to jump using the bottom left trigger. It means that you're not actually taking your thumbs off the thumbsticks at any point. Now, this particular trigger that I've set up here, I do not use anymore. I did try it out for a little while. I did actually have the 4 paddles on, but I found it didn't work for me. It kind of got in the way. It just didn't feel natural. I should say to you that if you are trying out paddles, it's better to start with 2 first and then work your way up, rather than where I started, which was 4, and then I actually ended up working my way down. If you can get used to all 4, it can be a real benefit for you. And when I was using it, it was to mark targets. So to do call outs for my team. The next one we have is the top right, and that is for putting on armor. There's another setting that we're going to be looking at in Warzone that will allow you to actually put on all your armor at once without needing to repeatedly press this paddle over and over again. And finally, we have crouch. So that is in the bottom right-hand corner as well. So we have our bottom left paddle and our bottom right paddle, which allows us to be able to jump and crouch. At no point we're ever taking our thumbs off the thumbsticks. Next, we have the left stick sensitivity curve. I'm not going to talk about this for too long. I played a lot with sensitivity curves, and I ended up deciding that aggressive on the left thumbstick was the way to go because I felt like it was making me move a little quicker. For right stick, the sensitivity curve I've left to default. I have tested out smooth and instant, and in games like Destiny 2, it's a real help because there seems to be a little bit more of a delay. But in Call of Duty and Warzone, the default was enough for me.
I should also mention that I am using the thumbsticks with the grips around the perimeter. For the left, I'm using a short stick, and for the right, I'm using the longer stick. On the left, I have it set to the loosest tension, and for the right, I have it set to medium tension. Tension is adjusted using this tool.
Next along, we have triggers. Now, what we've done here is we've mirrored these triggers so that you only have to move one of these sliders. Now, this slider actually starts all the way up at 100, and as you can see there on the graphic, what that means is it's how much you have to press the left trigger and the right trigger before it registers. Now there are 2 switches on the back of your controller, which means that the travel time for the left and the right triggers is reduced. A combination of reducing the travel distance on the left and the right trigger, as well as bringing this all the way down to a 1, means that you're pressing the button instantly. I actually find it quite uncomfortable to use the switches on the back at their high setting, meaning that it's harder but quicker to press overall. So I leave those as standard, but from time to time I will actually set my right trigger to the shortest distance. Anyway, 1-on-1 gets you done. Vibration is completely up to you. You can turn off vibration in the game. A lot of people feel as though vibration gets in the way, makes you miss your shots. I haven't found that to be true for myself, but I do have a tendency of turning off vibration in most games anyway, especially competitive games. It's just something that I've always done. Again, it's completely up to you, and the same can be said for your brightness. Your brightness settings is just the brightness for the Xbox button, as it's now called. I never look down at my controller, it doesn't get in the way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the Warzone settings here. We're going to head down to the dead zone. Now, the dead zone will vary depending on your controller, but typically what you want to do is you want to have your dead zone as low as possible without causing stick drift. The best way to be able to test stick drift is to simply just go to the map and see whether or not your controller moves by itself. I find for me 0.05 is the way to go. You might be able to get a little bit lower. Don't get too hung up on stick sensitivity. I think overall having a lower stick sensitivity and then working your way up in increments is a better way to go. I've done anything from 4 all the way up until 12 for me, but it is a very personal choice, and I found for me 8 worked quite well. What I will mention is that it is worth turning down your low zoom and your high zoom. So what that means is that when you're moving around and not aiming down sights, you're moving at the speed of 8 in this case. And this slows down your aim a little bit to get the sort of the aim a little bit finer. You could very well turn up your horizontal stick and vertical stick sensitivity really, really high so you can quickly turn on people. But I find that sort of your placement is more important in Call of Duty. The aim response curve is again a personal choice. I've decided to go with dynamic. I've switched between dynamic, linear and standard time and time again. But I find dynamic works the best for me, and it's just simply something I've stuck with. A couple of things you want to do. You want to change your reload to contextual tap. So what this means is that you can run over equipment really quickly and simply press X and you'll pick it up. You need to be a little bit careful around doors, and you need to teach yourself to hold down X to reload, but it works a treat. Contextual tap is the way to go. Have a bit of a play around with that. And the final option that I will say to go for is armor plate behavior. Change that to apply all. What this means is that you'll hold down the button once to apply armor, and you'll apply every single piece of armor that you have on you. That way you're not doing it for every individual piece. Another great one is changing your slide behavior to tap if it hasn't been set to that already. And just quickly jumping over to audio, it really depends what sort of headphones you have. I really do recommend using headphones. I'm using the official Xbox one, but there are many out there. But your audio mix set to boost high helps with footsteps, I find. And that's it. I hope you found this video useful. If you are keen on me doing one of these videos for Destiny 2, or any other game for that matter, just let me know in the comments below. See you in the next one.